Hello and welcome to Epika Bible presentation. I am Nick Dolia. This is Nelson Saba. And today we're going to talk about free roaming in the world of Epika Bible, specifically the city of Capernaum. Nelson, can you talk a little bit about free roaming and purpose of it? What can you do and how do you know what to experience
Yes.
in the open world?
Yeah. One of the most unique features of the Epika Bible is that the biblical places are recreated in the biblical times, and you can go to those places as what we call, using a little bit of game technology terminology, is open world experience. Meaning, you go to those biblical places recreated accurately as they were back in the biblical times, and you can walk around them. You can explore them. You can actually look at different areas of the city, find cultural experiences that you can take to learn about what life was like in Capernaum in the first century. But also you can watch biblical stories, and those biblical stories will be word for word from the Bible. What you're looking at here, what you're seeing here, is actually the city of Capernaum recreated back in the biblical days. And this is based on the latest archaeological evidence that we have of what the city of Capernaum was like. And the layout of the buildings is based on archaeological excavations, and so the harbor, the recreation of the boats and how these boats look, the geography of the Sea of Galilee or Lake of Galilee, everything is done as accurately as we possibly can with the help of scholars and archaeologists. And it's really nice that we allow you to be here and explore it at your heart's content. The question a lot of times is, okay, great, I know nothing about the city of Capernaum in the first century. How do I know what to do? And this is where we introduce a really nice feature of the Epika Bible, which is the Epika AI agent that allows you to ask questions to Epika, such as, today I feel a bit depressed. Tell me something that the Bible has that could help me cope with my feelings. Or you can say, oh, this is nice. I don't know anything about Capernaum. Can you guide me through Capernaum? Or you could even say, could you show me experiences that I can take in the city of Capernaum? And we don't have those features implemented yet, but I created a slide here that would show that if I'm looking at Capernaum, this is an image from the open world, and if I say, show me the experiences, you would see those blue markers pop up, and those blue markers would be marking areas where there are experiences, one or more experiences. Like in the boat, I could actually go to the boat and ask for a cultural experience about fishing and how fishing happened in the time. Or I could ask for one of the stories, such as Jesus calms the storm, and I would watch those stories connected to those experience markers. There was a marker also in the synagogue. I could actually go to the synagogue, and that marker would actually have 3 different experiences that I could have in the synagogue. And those experiences would be, let's go inside the synagogue. I would
Notice
see,
as you walk into the synagogue how lighting adjusts. That's the beauty of using latest technology from gaming. It gives you very realistic view.
And what you see here is that there will be 3 experiences available for you. One that would explain to you what is the relevance of a synagogue in the first century. So the synagogue is very central to the city. You could see it's kind of like in the main plaza of the city of Capernaum. Why was it there? What did people use the synagogue for? And we will describe that to you back in the first century and show even other synagogues in the region. There would be also a marker that would show a story, a biblical story that happened here, which was the healing of the man with a withered hand. And you would be able to watch this story word for word from the Bible here. The same would be for the healing of the demoniac man. Those 2 stories happen in the synagogue in Capernaum. So that's the idea, that the AI agent can guide you and suggest you to go to certain places and take some experiences. And let's go out of the synagogue and go to the terrace farm. If you go to the back of the city of
So
Capernaum,
the nice feature of open world, you can walk around or you can actually fly up
yeah, this is a bonus.
and
Yeah,
get a bird's eye view. So you can see what the synagogue looked like, the harbor, but in the back, you will see the terrace farm.
yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about why the terrace farm and kind of
Well, the terrace farm shows how farming was done back in those days. These were hilly areas, all basalt stone. It is volcanic rock, and those hilly rocky terrains are hard for you to farm. So what people do, they create retaining walls in the inclined areas, and those retaining walls are filled with good soil so that you can cultivate at least a small area of that good soil. So those terrace farms is how most of the farming was done. And if you remember, for instance, the parable of the sower, you will remember that as the sower throws the seeds, and notice that the sower is walking on the path. What is the path? The path is the rocky area, and he's walking at the edge of the path and throwing seeds aiming at the good soil. But some seeds fall on the path, which are quickly eaten by birds. Some seeds fall on the very shallow soil that you have in the edge of the rocky terrain that's not deep enough for the seeds to grow. And sometimes you will actually hit the bushes and that will suffocate the plant. But most of the seeds fall in the good soil and generate crops that then are harvested. So I mean it's very easy to understand the parable of the sower once you see it in the cultural context, but it's quite hard for you to visualize if you don't have that context. So this is a very important aspect of the recreation of the biblical world, and the stories being told in that recreated world, word for word from the Bible. What we saw in here actually is what we call a point in time. Anytime you select a biblical story, you will go to a point in time of that story, which is a moment that in time that represents the essence of the story. Such as the parable of the sower, it will be this one shot that shows the actual sowing by the sower and illustrates the essence of the message. So this showcases, I think, a very interesting feature of Epica, which is the ability for you to explore the biblical world, experience its culture, and also experience the Bible stories in the places where they happen, word for word. And this is a living city with people going around, going by their cultural roles. So the cultural experiences will be actually performed over here by the people living in the city. They are autonomous AI agents trained to be fishermen, sowers, centurions, whatever their role was in the city. So these are living cities that you can explore and experience. I would like to talk now about another feature that's quite important. What we're doing here, actually, you see in the corner of the screen, you see myself and Nick describing to you the city. I mean, this could be a pastor preaching a message or a small group Bible study. I could be talking about Peter's house, for instance, and this happens to be Peter's house, and this is square area that happened to be the open area of Peter's house was the area where many times the disciples and Jesus would gather for discussions and so on. Actually, if you go to Capernaum today, you will see this room under the big church. It's kind of like a flying saucer shaped church that was built on top of it. That's the very, very holy area for Christians. And you could argue that this would be the very first Christian church that ever was. So we're telling a story and we're sharing that story on YouTube. And pastors could do that, small group leaders could do that and use our environment for teaching a message. Another thing you can do is actually you could go and show your message in the environment as if you as a pastor or leader, author, was in the biblical world. And that's by using a green screen and having a camera that has trackers that allow us on the Unreal Engine, which is the 3D engine that you have seen, can put the position of the camera and immerse the pastor, the author, in the biblical world. So you would be teaching your message. In the next slide, it gives you an idea of how you would be actually in the biblical world teaching your message using that environment around you. There is also another technology, which are these domes, this immersive environments, and we happen to have one here in Orlando on Full Sail University. Actually, we have checked, and they are available in most anywhere in big cities, larger cities, and they can be used for you to record a whole series on, let's say, the tabernacle, or a whole series on the city of Capernaum and the culture of Capernaum, or what's next, where we're going next, which is the city of Jerusalem. But this is important because it allows Epika to become a platform for the church, a platform for authors, a platform for publishers to augment the message that they have in a book by creating experiences that go along with the printed book.
So really it allows you to be and showing what we're seeing right now, but around you as a pastor or content creator can basically be in the middle of it, walking almost through the streets of Capernaum.
Exactly.
And walking into the synagogue and explaining what's going on.
Yeah. And explaining a lot of features. Actually, when you were moving the camera around, I really saw the fact that this is the Via Maris going through the city of Capernaum. And you could explain all of those things. If you point the camera down and you fly out, you would see the Via Maris coming from the east and going
through the marketplace,
down in the marketplace and towards the Mount of Beatitudes.
Yeah.
So you could explain a lot of the geography. It's really the idea of this open world is that it would allow not only you to have a very exciting experience of the biblical world, but allow also authors, pastors, publishers, teachers to use this environment to teach their message, provided it's a biblical related message.
And actually, you can download this experience on our website, epicaworlds.com. If you go to products page and hit download, you can download this on any PC and walk around, play with it by yourself.
Yeah, the idea is, if you want to do that, we ask you also that you understand this is a work in progress, not even is a pre-alpha version of it, but we would like to have your commitment to download the updates and give us feedback towards, because that would be extremely valuable for us to perfect the product towards its launch of the first release.
Thank you for joining us. And
Thank you.
We'll look future to providing further updates.